Hello there, my dears. It's LaShanda Henry here, aka Sister Sense, with another wonderful web class for you guys today. Yay! I'm actually doing a late night live. I don't do too many of these, but when the spirit takes me and the energy takes me, I'll jump on here and do a live stream. This is inspired by my jump challenge, my 30-day marketing challenge over at sistersense.com/jump. This is the time of year when I like to spring into action and get strategic and intentional with marketing. I'm always strategic and intentional with marketing, but then there are certain times when I'm just like full force, like powering through and pushing through. And during those times, I love to jump on here and share as much as I can with you. So that's what we're going to do tonight in this late night live. I'm actually going to share 3 ways that you can either work on making more profit versus more profit per sale. Hi, Anissa. Thanks for joining me for this live late night session. Of course, definitely feel free to say hello to me. If you guys are watching live, and of course, if you're watching the replays, always remember to drop into the comment box, #replaysrock. And I always forget to mention this, but turn on alerts because I don't do lives at a certain time all the time. I do them when the spirit takes me, hence tonight's late night live. So turn on the notifications on Facebook and also on YouTube so that when I do upload new content, you guys can see it. All right. So definitely don't forget to do that. So, all right, we're going to talk about sales today, inspired by the Jump 30-Day Marketing Challenge that I'm doing right now as part of my Spring into Action experience. So, first thing that I want to share with you guys is just a rundown of the conversation we're going to have today. We're going to talk about your options, we're going to talk about urgency, and we're going to talk about extensions, okay? So just to give you a quick rundown, those are the 3 topics we're going to focus on. First thing, options. So today, the day is almost over, but today I do my clarity calls. And one of the things that I was talking about with quite a few people today is making more profit per sale, which is what inspired me to do this session. So looking at your current offers and making them the best they could possibly be is one of the things that I try to teach when I go into my clarity sessions, right? So one of the things I want you to do is identify your current offers right now to see if there's room for growth, especially when it comes to revenue, so that you can make more profit per sale. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of this. On one of my clarity calls, I was working with a client and she was working on her clarity calls. She calls them strategy sessions, right? So today I was working with a client. She's trying to figure out her strategy sessions and we were looking at her price points. And right now she charges $75 an hour. So I said, number one, I think that you can comfortably raise that from $75 to $100 an hour and get that $25 bumped without any type of headache or frustration or anxiety there. That's number one. So just raise that 75 to 100. That was number one. And then number 2, she said, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Hey, Essie, welcome, my dear. She said, I'm going to be honest with you. I used to do packages and I used to charge $400 for those packages. And I said, okay, well, how many hours of calls did you include in those? And she said, okay, well, I used to do those for $400 and have 6 sessions in there. So I said, okay, number 1, I want you to raise the price from the individual sessions from 75 to 100. And number 2, bring back that package in a new way. So as opposed to you charging $500 for the 6 sessions, how about you charge, $400. Now with the new price, charge $500, right? Then I said, also consider that as opposed to just doing a 6-session package, if people were paying for that, there might be people who want to pay for 12 sessions from you, right? So consider doing another package that's $1,000 or $995, right? So essentially raising the $75 strategy calls to $100. Then if you were doing packages before and you haven't done them in a while, bring them back so that you can do that 6-hour package for $500 and then that 12-hour package for $995. By the way, that's a technique that I use when I put my offers together. So I have a page, it's called Get More Done, where you can sign up for retainer hours from me. And there are 3 hours there are 6 hours there are 12 hours there, and there are 24 hours there. Because here's the deal. people are going to come to you at different price points, and they're going to be able to afford, and they're going to want different things, right? And that's something that I had to learn as an entrepreneur, because in the beginning, I was really like, oh my God, I can't charge a certain amount because people won't be able to afford that. And I was limiting myself and also limiting my perspective on the type of people that come to me, right? I work with people who are on very tight budgets, but I also work with people who are making multiple six figures and making multiple $1 million levels. So I know that one of the reasons why we struggle as entrepreneurs to make more profit per sale is because we cap ourselves. Now, real talk, for those of you who are participating live right now, you can honestly answer that question. Are you capping yourself? Or even if you're watching the replays, and remember to drop into the comment box, replays rocks, right? So I can make sure I can shout out my folks who are watching the replays. Do you cap yourself? Yes or no? When you know that you want to make more, but you're very much intimidated when it comes to charging more because you're afraid of what that's going to look like, or you're afraid that people are going to turn away, right? So understanding that, and a part of that process of mentality of, okay, I don't want to charge a certain amount because I don't want people to be like, oh my God, that's too much, is only giving people one option. So when I was building sites initially, I only had one price point, and I was like, take it or leave it, right? The more I diversified my options, the more comfortable I was with pricing more, because I was like, okay, at every tier, people are going to have something that they could work with. So for that client that I worked with today, I was able to say, well, listen, for the person who wants as many hours as they can get with you, double your package, give them 12 hours. For the person who wants the 6, give them the 6. And for the person who can only afford 1, give them the 1, right? But those options definitely do help. So that's one thing that you can consider to increase your profit per sale. And again, a great example of that is my Get More Done pages. You can see at sistasense.com/GMD, which stands for Get More Done. You can see the different price variations that I have there. And it's interesting because I do clarity calls on Wednesdays, right? So another clarity call I was having with a client, she said, okay, LaShanda, there are some updates that I want on my page, and I would love it if you could do it for me. And I was like, sure, I can do that. I think my 3-hour package would probably work for you as far as my Get More Done updates are concerned, right? So she said to me, you know what, outside of the Get More Done, I love that I'm talking to you now. I've used up all my time because we talked for about 90 minutes today. She said, I want more time with you. I actually would love to talk to you on a monthly basis. So I said, okay, well, number one, you can go to my clarity call page, callme.sistasense.com, and you can schedule a call whenever you need it. But if you do want monthly calls, I have my insider circle. So you can have monthly private calls with me, plus be in my mastermind, plus get help and support if you need web support, like if you need a couple of hours a month. So she was like, oh, okay, I want that. So because she's already in my mastermind and she wants the monthly time with me plus monthly web support when she needs updates on her website or other technical pieces. So she said, okay, I'm going to get that. So in that, it's a great example for me to show you variations of packages, because number one, when it comes to my personal clarity calls, I have one-off calls that people can do 30, 60, or 90 minutes, number one. I have monthly calls, so people who want to be able to talk to me on a monthly basis can do that, number two. And I have larger retainer services so that people who want to talk to me plus get retainer web update time from me can get that, number three. And that's important because in that example, I am living proof that you can start with seriously low price point services. Like I used to charge $30 for people to talk to me. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm not a certified coach. I don't want to charge. I used to charge $30 for people to talk to me, right? Now I'm in a space where I work with clients for anywhere between $50 to $300 for those calls. And mind you, I'm still on the low end, because whereas I would do a lot of stuff for clients for $300, there are people who you can't talk for them you can't talk to them for 60 minutes for less than $500 or even $1,000. So it isn't necessarily like for me in the larger scheme of things relative to a few other people that I know that my price points are huge, right? Some people, they do their calls for like $1,200, just to talk to them for an hour or 90 minutes, right? Versus me, I'm like, okay, I'll charge you $100. So you can't necessarily just simply go by as Prin is licking me a whole lot. No. You can't necessarily, number one, compare yourself to other people, but you should, more importantly, compare yourself to yourself. So I'm looking at my present self and my future self and my past self and going, okay, if I want more profit for sale, these are things that I can strategically do to make that happen, right? And so I've gone from, getting $30, from people paying to talk to me over the phone to getting $300 from people working with me on a monthly basis with those price variations. And again, you can take a look at my different price variations of my Get More Done package at sistasense.com/GMD if you're looking for how I break those down. Or number two, you can go to callme.sistasense.com and you can see again, I have the 1 hour package, the 30-minute, well, they're changing, but I do have those price points there. So that's one thing, okay? Your options. Now, right now, I'm talking specifically about strategy calls and consulting calls and giving people price variations for that. But this same methodology you can use for just about anything, right? So identify a particular product or service package that you have right now that you may want to go back and look at, okay? And I'm going to be honest with you. Finding ways to, without necessarily having to grow your audience exponentially, finding ways to make more money and make more profit for sale is something that I've been working on for years. So I strategically find new ways to bring in more money without necessarily having to increase the size of my audience significantly just by trying to think out of the box, right? And looking at smarter ways to do things. I'm actually going to talk about 5 ways to make more money and really magnify your money. I'm going to talk about that this coming weekend as part of the 3-hour Spring into Action virtual webinar intensive. So if you want to participate in that live or catch the replays, I would definitely say to go to sistasense.com/spring. so that you can register for that if you haven't already done so. And if you're watching the replay after the fact, if the replays are still up, you can grab those too. So sometimes clients will binge watch my previous virtual workshops, but that's something that you can do. So first part of this is options, and you thinking about and looking at your primary offers, how you can raise those rates and diversify the options that you give to increase your profit per sale. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, I want to talk to you about extensions. Okay? No, let me leave that for last. Urgency. Let's talk about urgency. So the first thing that I said to you is giving people options. And for one of the ladies on the clarity calls that I worked with today, she said, you know what, I love the fact that we did so much today. I really got a lot of my call with you. I want more calls. So then I sent her over to the clarity call page and I said, well, I'm just going to give you a heads up. I'm actually in the process of raising the rates of my clarity calls, number 1, and removing some of these options, number 2. So she was like, how much are you raising your rates by? And when are you changing these things? And I'm like, I'm going to be changing these things within the next week. So by next week, a few of these things are going to be changed or gone, right? That urgency is a part of the process. Now, do I change my rates all the time? No. I mean, sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to my consulting, I will probably keep the same rates for at least a year or 2 before I change it, even by a few dollars, right? But it's time. It's been a while since I've done a price shift and adjusted a few of my packages. So right now, this is a good quarter for me to do that strategically, right? And when I mentioned that, my client was like, oh my gosh, definitely thinking about jumping on and making sure that she was doing what she needed to do or signing up for these things and being mindful of the new level of rates. So that's something that you can think about as well. When you look at your offers that you're trying to sell, and again, right now I'm talking specifically about my clarity call services and consulting and calls, but you can again apply this to anything. When you're looking at some of your packages, are there areas where there is urgency and you're not really talking about that urgency, or there should be some form of urgency to motivate more people to register or take action, right? So, just in passing, because I knew that I just strategically knowing that within the next week I'm going to be changing my Clarity Call pages because she asked me about it. I told her, but I could just as easily say, okay, hey guys, I am officially changing my Clarity Call pages in 5 days. So make sure that if you want to get the rates that are there, that you go to callme.sistersense.com, right? I could tell it to people who are asking me directly, number one, or number two, I could do like a public announcement and make sure that my people know, right? I haven't done that. I know normally when I'm just ready to change it, I change it, but that's something to think about, right? So again, I want you to think about particular packages, services that you offer where you can give people options, number one, to increase your profit per sale, or number two, you can think about this urgency factor. If there's either limited amount or limited space urgencies versus limited time urgencies. Okay. Now, there are two ways to look at urgencies as based on what I've been doing and what I've been talking about in my circle. Number one, I just talked about to you, if you're changing something in a certain amount of time, letting people know, how long they have before something is going to go away or go up, right? That's number one. Number two, visual cues really help. One of my favorites is having some sort of timer on your website. Does anybody use timers on their sales pages, like countdown clocks, so people can see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? If you use a countdown clock, or if you've used one in the past, you can drop a yes in the comment box. I've used countdown deadline timers on my sales pages, and right now I'm actually testing out a new timer, and I absolutely love it. I've known about this timer for well over a year now. I've seen other marketers use it, and I always said to myself, eventually I'm going to use it, but I haven't. And right now, not only am I working on all of these wonderful marketing strategies for my Spring into Action experience, I'm actually teaching people these marketing strategies inside of my Jump 30-Day Challenge. So every day for the next 30 days, as I'm doing different marketing strategies, the people who are in my Jump Challenge, I'm telling them exactly what I'm doing and I'm breaking it down, right? So when it comes to urgency, number one, making people aware of changes is helpful. But then number two, also being sure that you can integrate some form of a countdown clock is great. So right now I'm actually doing a trial of Deadline Funnel. It's called Deadline Funnel because it's about you making strategic sales funnels, but also making it really crystal clear and streamlining the deadlines that you have, right? So right now I'm in my 14-day trial. If you want to take a look at it or even try it out, you can go to sistersense.com. That's me, SISTASENSE, sistersense.com/DF. Hello, my dear. Welcome, welcome. So DF stands for Deadline Funnel. Okay, so right now I'm doing the trial, but I've really liked the results that I've gotten so far, so I'm more than likely going to keep it moving forward. So here are a couple of things that I like about urgency and how Deadline Funnel works. I'm going to give you a page. If you go to sistersense.com/jump for my Jump Challenge, my 30-day marketing challenge, I don't know when you're going to go to that page, but if you're going right now as I'm doing a marketing campaign, you're probably going to see the Deadline Funnel countdown at the bottom of the page. I love that thing for several reasons. Number one, as you scroll, it's stuck to the bottom. So it's not going to go away or disappear. It's right smack dab in people's faces, number one. Number two, that urgency is there because you've set a particular deadline and you're like, look, 24 hours, 74 hours, 2 days, 3 days, whatever your deadline is, this thing is going away. Love that feature. Number three, I'm able to put together an automated redirect. So there are times when I've done deadlines in the past and I have to manually shut things down at 11:59 before midnight, right? Or I'll have to wake up in the morning and do it when I get up. there's so many sophisticated pieces of deadline funnels. One of them is automatically when the timer hits the time that you want it to, you can automatically redirect people to something else. So you can shut that thing down and then redirect them somewhere else, which I love, which is why I'm really enjoying my trial. And it was pretty easy to set up my countdown clock. I use WordPress, so they have a WordPress plugin. They have these simple videos. And I want to say in about an hour, I set up my sequence. Plus, it integrates with a lot of the platforms that I use. So it integrates with Shopify, Samcart, Thrivecart, ConvertKit, WordPress, and I use that for my sales pages. So that worked out well for me too. So, I mean, again, you can try it out absolutely free. I do like having that urgency. And again, if you use timers on your page, you just feel free to let me know, just to kind of, out of curiosity, for those of you watching live or via the replay, just to see how many of you are actually using timers, because that visual cue does motivate a lot of people to go, oh my gosh, this is going away soon. I really need to take action and sign up now. Right? So outside of you verbally telling people that there's limited space, using something like a countdown timer does help. And there are instances where, for example, I'll have a package in my store or a product in my store, and I'll create urgency by setting a limitation on how many is available. So, 5, 10, 15, 20, and people seeing there's a limited amount of that particular offer, that helps with urgency as well. So if you want to generate more sales or you want to generate more profit per sale, first thing I talked about tonight was that options factor, and thinking about what options you currently have where you can raise your rates or even raise how big the package is. That was number one. And then number two, talking about urgency. If there are things you're going to change, if there are limitations, telling people, but then also having a visual cue with some sort of countdown clock is another thing that you can do, versus visually showing them that there's only so many of that particular product or service in your store. Okay, so urgency is number two, and a great example is the jump challenge, which brings me to number 3 on this list of sales strategies, which is extensions. So I started the new month and I said, listen, first day of the month, I'm starting my jump 30 day. That's a 31 day. I'm doing my jump 30-day marketing challenge, right? And I said, listen, you got 24 hours to jump on jump, because once it starts, and then it's shutting down, right? So I used deadline funnels. That was the first deadline funnel that I did. And again, I really like how it works out. And so that was the first thing. But then after I shut it down, of course, I got emails from folks saying, hey, it's Monday, it's Tuesday, I just got this email. Where is it? It's gone already? And I'm like, yeah, it's gone already. But today, and I was like, it's gone. It's over. You can't get it back. It's gone. It's over. It's like, I'm just saying that, right? So by Monday that night, it was gone. Tuesday, I was like, look, it's gone. Wednesday, I'm like, okay, it's gone. I know you wanted to get in. It's gone. So I said, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do an extension. So between now and Friday, you can go back in, right? So I extended my deadline funnel. So it's going to expire on Friday. I brought it back. I reactivated the jump challenge. I brought that back. And then I emailed my list and said, listen, a couple of people said, I missed it. I do want to be in the challenge. I want to get my graphics and all that other stuff. So I reactivated. And today, people are registering. Had I not reactivated it, I would not have made new sales. Did I just say mated? I think I'm tired. Had I not reactivated it, I would not have made those extra sales. I'm adding extra EDs onto stuff because it's too late for me to be on here. But you get the idea, right? So here's what I want you to do. Number one, again, you can take a look at the deadline funnels. You can take a look at the jump challenge. That's going away on Friday when you go to sistersense.com/jump, JUMP. That's number one. Number two, I want you to think about something that you have recently offered, right? offer that you've got a sales page for, a product page for, maybe something you offered a month ago, or something you offered at the beginning of the year, or something you offered last year, right? And it's gone now. You aren't offering it anymore. You're not talking about it anymore. But here's what you can do. Bring it back. Bring it back, right? Bring it back, or extend the amount of time that people have the opportunity to register. You can say, hey, listen, I know I had it last month and I shut it down, but guess what? I brought it back, and I'm bringing it back for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, and you have the opportunity to try it, right? And not only can you bring it back, you can go a step further and put that deadline funnel countdown timer on it too, right? So they can see that countdown going down and then automatically redirect them to another page once the actual extension is over. Okay, so I want you to think about that. And whether you're watching live or via the replay, I want you to think about and even consider dropping into the comment box and saying, oh my gosh, LaShanda, I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring back this offer, or, I had an offer and it was like 72 hours. I'm going to come back and extend it, giving them another 72 hours. This is the offer. This is the link. Okay. So feel free to think about it. If you want to share it with me and have me take a look at it, you can drop that into the comment box, but that's something else that you can do. So those are, for me, some things that you can consider when it comes to either making more profit, more sales, or more profit per sale. Options, urgency, and extensions. All right. So if you do have any questions for me, feel free to email sistasense@gmail.com. That's number 1. Number 2, as you're on the sistasense.com website, you can click the gray tab on the right to send me a voice message. Right. And number 3, feel free to sign up to the Jump Challenge before it goes away, because I did extend it. And you can learn more about the Jump Challenge and my upcoming Spring into Action virtual webinar that's happening this Saturday when you go to sistasense.com/jump. All right. So truly enjoying the challenge. It's an opportunity for me to not only be strategic and consistent when it comes to my marketing strategies, but to really pull back the curtain and every single day for 30 days say, okay, when it comes to marketing, I'm doing this. And one of the ladies in my circle who registered for the Spring into Action virtual, I think she registered like a day or 2 ago. One of the things I did in there was I said, listen, I would love to know where you need help, what you're trying to do right now, and what motivated you to sign up. And she said, I'm going to be honest with you. One of the things that motivated me to sign up to Spring into Action virtual is the word jump, because I feel like I spend a lot of time spinning my wheels, or I know there's stuff that I need to do, but I haven't done it yet. So that just word alone motivated me to take action. So that's what I'm about right now, springing into action, doing those things that you know you need to do, but for whatever reason, whether it be fear, frustration, time, you just don't do it. You don't get to it. So as I motivate myself to do what I need to do for the next 30 days with respect to my marketing, pulling back the curtain and showing you and breaking down what I do inside of the Jump Challenge is certainly something that's fun for me. So again, feel free to go to sistasense.com/jump while you can and register to get access to that 30-day marketing. It is available also as a bonus. So you can either separately sign up for the Jump Challenge, or you can sign up for one of the Spring into Action workshop registrations, and Jump is a part of that as well. Jump is going to go away, so the access of that is going to go away once the deadline funnel calendar is done in the next couple of days. But those are some things that I'm working on, and hopefully in me sharing examples of what I'm doing and how I'm up leveling and changing different pages and packages on my website, that can give you a few ideas as far as what you can do on yours. So, all right, that's it. I am done. This is me putting my foot in the ending of this late night session. Again, remember to turn on alerts and notifications on Facebook and YouTube so that you can get the cues when I go live, and you can see when I upload my new good to my various social media platforms. So, all right, y'all, go forth, do what you need to do. Definitely let me know if of the 3 things that I talked about today, if any of those things are something that you want to do, can you just drop it into the comment box? Because I would be curious to see. If you go, LaShanda, I think that based on what you talked about today, I want to work on making some more options, number 1, or I want to work on integrating some more urgency cues, number 2, Or I think I'm going to work on an extension right now and extend a particular offer. So feel free, whether you're watching via the live or the replays, to let me know which of those 3 sales strategies you feel like you're going to focus on and try to integrate into what you're doing in the next couple of days, or maybe the next week, next month. And outside of that, just kind of check in with me and let me know if you have any questions. So, all right, I'm done. Bye, guys.